Yo, what is up? Do you guys see this? Do you see this? Do you see it? Do you what? You like it? Do you? Don't forget to leave comments on the videos because my favorite comment, you are going to win my old playmat, which is the take this sword, it's dangerous to go alone, old guy from Zelda. So we're going to go through this really fun, super budget outsider CEDH deck here. And who's fronting the helm here? Well, there's a few cards in here that would make a good commander. But Samut, Voice of Dissent, is our legendary creature, human warrior, a mythic. She's a mythic, boys. She's 3, a red, and a green, but don't let that fool you because she's got white in the casting cost down here. She's flash, she's double strike, she's vigilant, she's hasty. Other creatures you control have haste. Pay 1 white, tap, untap another creature. Perfect. And target creature, not just our creatures. So, very cool. I don't know why we necessarily want to be doing that kind of strange politicking, but we could untap an opponent's creature. And anyways, let's get right into it, and we'll talk about what this deck likes to do. So let's take a look at our creature base. We are running 30 creatures, I think. 30 or 31. Down here. Perfect. Make sure we get... All right. So, first off, in this creature base, we have the Goblin Anarchomancer. It's a Gruul staple in Modern, but we've got it in here too. Each spell you cast that's red or green costs 1 less to cast, followed by the Black Market Tycoon. It's a treasure pooping cat rogue for green and red. At the beginning of your upkeep, Black Market Tycoon deals 2 damage to you for each treasure you control. So tap it, create a treasure token. It's a 2/2 for 2. Rin and Siri the Inseparable. Whenever you cast a dog spell, create a 1/1 green cat creature token. Whenever you cast a cat spell, create a 1/1 white dog creature token. For red, green, and white, we can tap. Rin and Siri Inseparable deals damage to any target equal to the number of dogs and cats you control. You gain life equal to any target equal to the number of dogs you control, pardon me. You gain life equal to the number of cats you control. So that is a fun card in here. We have Geared, Conclave Exile, a favorite commander among the Timmie crowd. Legendary creature, Human Shaman. When Geared Conclave Exile enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 green rhino creature token with trample. Whenever Geared attacks, populate. The token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. And heading up the white, we have White Mane Lion for a cat. When White Mane Lion enters the battlefield, return a creature you control to its owner's hand. We have the Elms Collector, Flash. If an opponent would draw 2 or more cards, instead you and that player each draw a card. We have Ragavan the Nimble Pilferer, another terrible thing in Modern here that we see across the table from us. Ragavan Nimble Pilferer needs no introduction, but in case it does, it's got that dash cost. 1 in a red, or whenever Ragavan Nimble Pilferer deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and exile the top card of that player's library until end of turn. You may cast that card. Ew. We have the Duckman here himself. When Duckman Extortionist enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control, with usually quite a few. So we'll be able to get this deck moving very fast. And like I said, this is very casually, very budgetly competitive. And we have Imperial Recruiter here to get that goblin and get that monkey if we want it. When Imperial Recruiter enters the battlefield, search for a creature card with power 2 or less. Reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. We have Combat Celebrant here. So this is going to get us extra combat steps. So if Combat Celebrant hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. When you do, untap all other creatures you control, and after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. And that is how we win out in this game, sometimes. We have Dual Caster. This is a combo piece in here, obviously. So 1, 2, 3, Flash. When Dual Caster enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. We'll keep that aside there, and Combat Celebrant, because we're going to talk about them later. We have Simian Spirit Guide. Remove Simian Spirit Guide in your hand from the game. Add 1 red mana to your mana pool. Certainly we will. We have Karlach, Fury of Avernus. Legendary creature. Tiefling Barbarian. Whenever you attack, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap all attacking creatures. They gain first strike until end of turn. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. And you can choose a background if this is your commander. We have Birds of Paradise for our ramp in green, moving out of red. Or moving out of red and moving into green. We were in the stop and now we're going to go, go, go. All right. Birds of Paradise. Flying, add 1 mana of any color. You cannot beat that. We have, we'll be untapping, see. Samut will be easily to untap these target creatures. So we have tap, add 1 to the mana pool in the color of a white. So we can tap and untap this fellow as well. We have Lano to bring in the green. We have Fauna Shaman. It's a, what is that? Survival of the Fittest on a stick. For a green and a tap, discard a creature card, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then souffle. Souffle, yes. Voyaging Satyr, tap and untap target land. 1 and a green. Perfect. We have Scavenging Ooze there with the funny shapes on it there. Those funny eyeball shapes. Indeed. For 1 and a green, we can pay green and exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a 1/1 counter on Scavenging Ooze and you gain 1 life. I think this card would be absolutely amazing if it was legendary, wouldn't it, though? If it was legendary, like blue, green, and black, maybe? Maybe blue, black, and white? Blue, green, and white? When Eternal Witness enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So with Ephemerate and cards that are going to be returning things, this is a wonderful thing to bounce back into our hand. We have Prowling Serpaperd. Can't be countered, and creature spells you control can't be countered. That's going to help us quite a bit. Also, here we have Kahira the Orphan Guard. Legendary creature, a cat beast. It's got companion, we're not worried about that, but vigilance. Each other creature you control, it's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast, gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. That's very useful for us. We have Goreclaw, Terror of Calsilsma. Now this is another one that is from our wonderful secret lair that we got. So do you guys know whose deck this is? Whose deck is this, huh? This isn't my deck. Have you getting it yet? Remember I said these were birthday presents for my wife. So we're looking at one of her decks. Goreclaw, Terror of Calsilsma. Calsilsma. There we go. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. Yeah, buddy. Whenever Goreclaw, Terror of Calsilsma attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 against trample until end of turn. El Trampolino, we have the Quirsting Burst. We got Quirsting Burst here. Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Quirsting Burst can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control cannot be prevented. Now that's very important for this deck. Whenever Quirsting Burst deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls. Now that was a great card in Standard. I was playing a lot of Arena at the time. Loved that card. We have the Ivy Lane Denizen here, a combo piece. Whenever another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Keep that aside there. We have Temur Sabertooth. 1 and a green, you may turn another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, Temur Sabertooth gains indestructible until end of turn. And look at that. I'm so jealous of this. I want one for me. I just have the regular one. But not mine. Unfortunately, right? Oh. Anyways. That's a great way to bounce things back. We have the Herd Baloth. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Herd Baloth, you may create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Certainly, we have Pathbreaker Ibex to lead the charge here. When Pathbreaker Ibex attacks, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And what do we have here but the Ancient Imperiosaur? We can convoke this. It's got trample. It's got ward. Ancient Imperiosaur enters the battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on it for each creature that convoked it. And we have Galta, Primal Hunger. Galta, Primal Hunger costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. And Trample, 12/12. We'll be casting this thing for 2 green all day. Or I should say, Ashley does. But we've played this deck ourselves a few times, and it is really fun. It's a perfect deck to bring along to a game store. And now that we're out of our creatures... Oh, these don't belong here. Now that we are out of our creatures... All right. Now we're getting into sorceries. We have Time of Need. It's basically a tutor. Search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand. Shuffle library afterwards, of course. We have Regrowth, or return the creature from a graveyard. We have Nature's Claim. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Its controllers gain 4 life. We don't care about that. Worldly Tutor. We know what that's all about. Beast Within. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. We have Second Harvest. For each token you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. Very powerful here. Sometimes not necessary, but in some cases it is. We have Shared Summon. Search your library for up to 2 creature cards with different names. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. We have Gamble moving into our red. So search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, discard a card at random, then shuffle. We have Faithless Looting with my mother on the artwork there. And she's got the can of paint, the hot soup, and says, "What are you doing, Billy? Hey, what are you doing?" There she is. "How you doing, Ma?" Okay, very good. Faithless Looting. Draw 2 cards or discard 2 cards in that flashback. Yum, yum. We have Rite of Flame, a card that I absolutely wish was modern legal, man. Gosh. So for 1 red, add 2 red to your mana pool, then add 1 red to your mana pool for each card named Rite of Flame in each graveyard. Because you know everybody'd be running this, and we'd be like, Red Mana City. I get why it's banned. I get it. I just wish it was banned, like, just not for me. Maybe for you guys, not for me. Is that not? That's not nice. What is that? Oh, it's holding a sword. Okay, I thought that was a dog hair or a beard hair in there, something. We have Vandal Blasts. Definitely seen some increase in price recently. Destroy target artifact you don't control, and its overload. Control each artifact you don't control if you pay that overload cost, which is not in addition to the 1. So, we have Twin Flame. Now, we're going to keep that aside because that's a nice win condition for us. We have Jessica's Will to get some of that mana. You've got the commander out. You can choose both. Add 1 red mana for each card in target opponent's hand. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this a turn. Pyroblast. Keep those pesky blue spells from doing anything bad. Now here's a card I've done a couple little clips about. Wild Magic Surge. For 2 red, destroy target permanent and opponent controls. Its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a permanent card that shares a card type with that permanent. They put that card onto the battlefield and the rest in the bottom of their library in a random order. So that is very annoying card right there. Especially if someone has set up their deck somehow. Or if somebody's using like a Sensei's Divining Top. We have Final Fortune. Take another turn after this. You lose the game at the end of that turn, but we're going to win the game before that happens. So, onward and a forward. Goes over here. I'm going to keep these combo pieces up here. All right. Little broken. Not totally, though. Pretty fair, actually. Swords to Plowshares. Exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to power. We have Enlightened Tutor. Search your library for an artifact or enchantment card. Reveal it and shuffle and put the card on top of it. There we have it. Ephemerate. What is the deal? Anybody see on this card? Hold on. Hold on. Right along there. That's rather odd. I did not notice that before, but that is an odd thing. So I'm going to take a look at that later on. That's different. It's almost like a rope binding or something on like an instrument. All right. Anyways. Ephemerate. Exile target creature you control and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Then you can rebound this, which means you can cast it at your next upkeep. Basically have that repeat. We have Burst of Energy on tap target permanent. So that's going to be important for us. Unbreakable Formation. This is one that is there. Could be Teferi's Protection. Could be Heroic Intervention. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Addendum. If you cast this spell during your main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures and they gain vigilance until end of turn. So I probably will get her some different cards to put in here. Just because this deck is coming along good and it's getting to be pretty nice. So maybe some better cards in here. So Wear, destroy target artifacts. Tear, destroy target enchantment. So I already gave her a monkey to put in here in a dockside. Maybe optimize this a little more if we can get permission. Boros Charm, a red and a white. Choose one. Boros Charm deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Now, isn't this just the bee's knees? All right. Hull Breach. Love this card. Destroy target artifact or destroy target enchantment. Or destroy target artifact and target enchantment. I think that's so funny. That is so gruel. We have Decimate, which is also so gruel. Destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, and target land. Just wreck it all, man. Who cares? All right, now we're going to enchant a land with this wild growth here. Oh, look at that enchanted tree. My goodness. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional green. Certainly. Now we have some more enchantments here. All right, there we go. And we're going to get down into the land base pretty soon, just after these artifacts. So instill energy for a green. You may untap target creature 1 additional time during your turn. Target creature may also attack the turn it comes into play. Nice old, I think some people from the old days of the channel may recognize this old, most played card in Magic. Beastmaster Ascension. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you may put a beast counter on Beastmaster Ascension. As long as Beastmaster Ascension has 7 or more quest counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. And look at those tigers, and look at that lady. I just lay down in a ball. If that was coming at me, I'd just lay down in a ball and be like, okay, this is awkward, but you guys just run around me. Sure, I'm gonna go ahead and be a potato bug here. All them tigers? No, thank you. Garruk's Uprising. And again, I'd roll into a ball and yeah, I'd be an armadillo, man. Garruk's Uprising enters the battlefield if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you're going to draw a card, buddy. We got the Fires of Yavimaya. An enchantment. Creatures you control have haste. Sacrifice Fires of Yavimaya. Target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of the turn. It's a great card. Rhythm of the Wild. Another great card. 1, a red, and a green. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Non-token creatures you control have Riot. Oh, what a riot. All right. So, we got a lot of artifacts here, don't we? Indeed, we do. And we'll know this one. This is Chrome Mox, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Springleaf Drum. Tap an untapped creature you control, add 1 mana of any color. We have the Aether Vial. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Aether Vial and tap it. You may put a creature card with mana value equal to the number of charge counters on Aether Vial from your hand onto the battlefield. This is a wonderful, awesome card, and I love, love, love this new artwork. We have Talisman of Conviction. Get a white or to get a white or a red. We have Felwar Stone to add any mana to your mana pool. This mana be of any type that a land an opponent controls can produce. Play it as an instant. Well, of course, they don't even need... It's so funny, I love those old cards. Chromatic Lantern for 3. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Or tap, add 1 mana of any color. Very good. Too bad it wasn't 2, right? Helm of the Host. That's an important one for us. And we're going to keep that aside to explain it. Right after we go through our mana base. I believe we got 29 lands here. So we have Ancient Tomb. Add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. Ancient Tomb does 2 damage to you. We have Command Beacon. Yeah. We got the Rith's Grove. We got that layer there. When Rith's Grove enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you return a non-layer land you control to its owner's hand. We have Command Tower. Then, oh, look at it. Candyland. Oh my goodness. Yum, 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 you guys, yummy. We have Exotic Orchard, Gemstone Mine, Overgrown Farmland, Brushland, Canopy Vista, Bountiful Promenade, Sacred Foundry, Arid Mesa, Sundown Pass, a Battlefield Forge, and the Old Foily. We have Inspiring Vantage. We have Rugged Prairie. Ooh. We have Clifftop Retreat. Spectator Seating. Cinderglade. Stomping Ground. Stompity stomp, stompity stomp. All right. Sorry, I can't help myself sometimes. You know how it is. Carplusian Forest. Copperline Gorge. And a Plains with a dog. 3 plains, 2 mountains, and 2 forests. And that's our land base. Now let's talk about some of these win conditions. So, one of these being, we're going to be generating a lot of mana, certainly. So what we're going to do with this mana, whenever another green creature enters the battlefield into your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So with Ivy Lane on board, okay, let's say we have a nice board state. If we tap one of our things, let's say we play something to get another turn after the turn. So on that turn, we play Herd Baloth. And then these two will interact with each other in the sense that Herd Baloth gets one or more +1/+1 counters, and you create the 4/4 green beast. So you're going to have a giant Herd Baloth and an army of infinite beasts. So that's very janky, very silly combo. But I've seen it pulled off. Now, a not so janky, not so silly combo is going to be the Dual Caster and the Twin Flame. So you cast Twin Flame while it's on the stack. Say, before Twin Flame resolves, while Twin Flame's on the stack, I'm going to flash in Dual Caster, copy target instant or sorcery spell, choose new targets. So choose any number of target creatures you control. Creature them, put a token that's a copy of that creature onto the battlefield. Those tokens have haste. So we're going to create a bunch of hasty mages. Oh, the hasty mages. See how they run. See how they fight. Oh, the hasty mages. See how fast they go. Now, isn't that nice, right? So we have that. But so too, do we have Helm of the Host. And yeah, we're not running kiki-jiki things. Helm of the Host is in here just to put on Combat Celebrant to give us infinite attack steps. So these are some win conditions. Not just does it beat to the face, but these are our combo pieces. There's a few more interactions in there, but pretty much that's it. So I imagine we'll see some more deck tech on this this deck because I think having given my wife these nice cards like Ragavan, the Dockside, and then she wants to add some pups in here. I think some dogs. Wouldn't be surprised if Rin and Siri ends up as the commander. But anyways, how about that new playmat? So I'm going to be watching my comments and I'm looking. So somebody's going to get the old playmat.